Angry Bill Burr?
Yeah, Angry Bill Burr.
We're having a good old time. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the show. It's been a long absence.
It's been a long time.
Well, you got to quit buying damn businesses and writing books and stuff.
Whew. I've never been busier in my life, and I've never been happier to finish something in my life.
Shout out Big Kanye. I had to do a podcast with a Jew last week.
Whew. Man, it gets real.
Shout out Jewish Better. Thanks for having me on. Sorry for the absence, guys. Book, it's done.
Well, I submitted my actual manuscript. So this,
Can you give us a teaser? Can you give us?
I will give a little teaser. It's a full-on sports training book. I mean, everything from like how you've got to be when you start anything, you have to be delusional. Because if you actually knew the chances you had of success, how low they are on anything, you really wouldn't do anything. So you got, I mean, everything from like the start of it to the mental side of it, how we learn, like the pedagogy of learning, and like how we actually learn how to like train our bodies, how we learn our brain, like how we do things, and then into like actual like game planning, scheduling, you know, the sports nutrition side of it, the strength and conditioning side of it, everything that you would need for a full-on sports training Bible. But you know, I was telling somebody, it might have been Gabe, might have been somebody else. I was explaining my memoir was like an indie book. You know, like if you go, like if you know movies, it's like, oh, that's an indie movie. It's gonna go play at like a festival, and then maybe somebody will watch it.
What's the festival called? Starburst, something like that. Sunkissed.
Can and there's
okay. There's a ton.
You know, there's a ton of them. Yeah. What's the one up in Utah? I'm thinking that's
Sundance.
Yeah, Sundance. Anyway, so like that's like my memoirs. The indie publisher published it, really didn't do much. This is like a real, like a full-on studio movie. So it's St. Martin's Press. I'm really happy about that because St. Martin's Press, it's one of the big 5 publishers, is Macmillan. You know, it's like, it's a real thing. And this was probably, I started writing the first of this probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. I got in a contract a year ago. It's 80,000 words, 205 pages. In the last like 3 weeks, I've been literally holed up. I mean, I've been writing for, you know, pretty much a year, but I had to get this thing done. So I've been in my office, in this room, in this podcast room for, I mean, 9 a.m. I'd get in here and I would leave at 1, 2 in the morning for like 4, 5, 6 days in a row, and then do it again, and then do it again.
Is that how you were as a student in school? Were you like every other guy, wait till last minute, cram everything, get it done?
In undergrad, yeah. In high school, yeah. Like I didn't do it. I mean, you just do whatever you do. In undergrad, I started like, I would just do work, kind of whatever. Like maybe I would do it early, maybe I wouldn't. In grad school, I actually started the opposite. And the second I got something, I would actually do it immediately. Because what I noticed is that if I didn't do it immediately, it's anxiety. It's like putting off things that you're worried about, things that you can control. So I realized like, hey, if I like have this assignment due all week, I'm just anxious about it all week. So I may as well just do the assignment, and then that gets rid of my anxiety, and then I'm just done with it. So I actually started doing that. With the book, my agent told me like, hey, publisher is buying it. They're going to give you an advance. Here's the details. But it took like, that was like February, March of last year, and I didn't get a contract till like July. And so I couldn't, like, it wasn't real in my head. And she was like, hey, this is normal. It's really slow. It's this and that. But I'm like, dude, I don't have a contract. I don't have a book. Like, this is a lie. Until I actually had a contract in hand. And then it was like I said, it was like the end of July. And I was like, oh man, I got to get writing. And then, I got busy, bought a new business, this and that. So whatever. But first draft is in. I'll get edits and do stuff and whatever. It'll come out sometime.
All right. Well, I can't wait for that one. Your first book, your memoir, was amazing. Yeah. So you're just always busy, always doing some new stuff.
You know, but now I'm not. So, well, I still have the business. I still have a ton of other stuff, but now I have that off my plate, and I've never been happier in my life.
That's great. I got a bunch of stuff off my plate too, and I'm also just as happy.
Right? So, isn't it nice to just unload? Like, so
just
good.
Free bird.
Man, it's been a while. We have not been here in a while.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
And you know what? We talk a lot too. We go on here and we say, guys, you freaking haters are hurting our little whiny feelings, and we cry and we complain. But you know, this time I actually want to hit this from a different angle. Thank you guys to everybody who jumped on the other podcast and said, where's the show? We miss you guys. We want to see you guys back. I had people DMing me, hey, when's the show coming? Is there a pod this week? For our Discord people, sorry about no pod. We're back. We're ready. Yep. We're good to go. Thank you guys for the support. I love this show. This is a good show.
It's fun. It's something fun that we do, and it gets us out of our like hole of our world that we're in and kind of pulls us out. It's a creative outlet, and it is work, but it is fun.
the film sucks. I hate doing the film. Just the film's never fun.
You know what's funny is I love the film. I hate the time commitment for the film.
That's what it is.
Like if it was like, look, if we were making millions of dollars and we just did this as a job and it was like, hey, let's go to a film room. Oh my gosh, I would love that. But it's just something where we don't have the time to commit to it.
How cool. Okay, we need you guys to all tell your friends about the podcast, blow us up, make us super rich. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get like literally an NFL film room. We'll have the projector, the big screen. We'll all get some lounge chairs.
Talk dirty to me. Talk dirty.
And you know what? We'll live stream it so everybody can watch along with us.
Done.
All right, perfect.
And actually, I'm glad that we're doing this week's and not last week's. That Australia card sucked. I didn't want to do film on it. I'm glad I didn't. This week's is actually a really good card. There's some fights on here I really like.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, should we get into? Also,
Let's do it.
We do need to point out the weird kind of matching shirts.
It was very intentional.
Even your cup is the same color too. Everything's the same color.
What's going on here?
And then we have producer Kamuela with his pseudo Trump hat. He's wearing an Adidas hat that's stark red, and we know his politics, so we get what angle he's trying to go with.
We know what he was trying. Say what you mean without saying what you mean.
There was 9 colors there.
I had to wait for him to win first.
Yeah.
There was 9 colors available, and of course he chose the one.
Let's go.
Wait, actually, before we get into that, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask your take on the Super Bowl. You're a big football guy. How was that? And I also want to ask 2 other things. So how was the Super Bowl? Opinions, halftime show, and Kanye tweets.
Okay, so Super Bowl, I was uninvested with either team because I
love Patty.
I really don't care for either of them. My team is the Bucks, and then I also like the Bills. Neither of them made it, so then I just really didn't care. I was shocked that it was such a blowout. That was dominating. That was. Whew.
I just couldn't believe each time he would throw another interception. I'm in disbelief.
It was wild. That was probably the worst game of that entire Chiefs lineup's careers, all of them collectively in one. But it was good to see Jalen Hurts get a ring, get it, do it.
He's sexy as shit. That little hoop earring, like, dude, that's not for everybody.
With the triangle, like he's like WWE Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, and he's all jacked up. Like, dude, if he wants your girl, there's nothing you could do about it.
Nothing any of us are doing. He has your girl. The way more important thing is the halftime show. I loved it. I thought that was one of my favorite halftime shows ever. Probably.
It's getting massive critique and criticism. Yes.
I loved it.
And you're lying about this because rap cannot be good live. It sucks live.
No, I loved it.
His voice is flat. There's no, it's not good. The music is not enough to carry that performance, I think. Just talking into the mic. He's like,
I liked it. I like it. I love Kendrick. I think Kendrick right now is, for me, and I don't listen to a ton of new rap. I mean, I do actually because I have kids, so I listen to all the new stuff out there. I think Kendrick is my favorite out right now of anyone producing new stuff. I'm a big Kendrick fan.
Dude, I am such an idiot with music. It's kind of the cool thing about me. I only listen to Jay-Z primarily for most of the time. But then when I find a new artist, these will be super popular artists that have been out for 15 years, and I'll experience them for the first time. And then I have a giant catalog of all kinds of music I get. Travis Scott, I just found, and I'm like, whoa, have you guys heard of this guy? He's great.
No, I like Kendrick. I thought he actually looked funny in his tight bell-bottom jeans.
Those were great. Those are nice.
It was super cool, but he's not like a super rhythmic, great dancer. So he's like almost like a little short and stocky with these tight jeans. So he looked kind of funny. Like,
well, he kind of made it work.
Yeah.
His dancing was my favorite part.
And that's kind of his thing too. The way that he kind of moves. You watched the Not Like Us video.
Yeah. I loved it. I liked it.
The dancers were awesome. That part, as the flag, and they're doing all the crazy shit.
Serena Williams?
Yeah, Serena Williams out there. I thought they were going to have more cameos on some stuff. I thought we were going to see some more artists come in. I was actually shocked that we didn't. I don't know what the hell Samuel L. was doing.
Uncle Sam?
Yeah. I don't know why he was.
That was literally the only part is just because his name is Sam.
I mean, it was literally just, okay. But I liked it.
And Kanye tweets.
I don't know about the Kanye tweets. So that's,
he's going nuts. So actually, I just saw this on the way here today. And we're going to pump you guys up a little extra. We've been gone for long. Yeah. So, for you guys pussies that cry about the intros, cry more.
Yeah, we got the timestamps.
Yeah.
This is great. So I guess Kanye, first of all, he's got 2.7 billion to his name, liquid cash, because all the companies have said you need to sell your stock, whatever. So he's just sitting on 2.7 billion. He has been tweeting the most racist stuff you can possibly imagine. He pulled out an ad, I guess, on the Super Bowl. Did you see it?
No.
He goes, This is awesome. So he goes, guys, I paid for this ad, but I spent all the money on my teeth, and it was just a diamond grill. He goes, so I got to record this on an iPhone. And then he just sat there staring into the iPhone camera. And then he goes, go to Yeezy.com. And that's all it was. Just an iPhone video with his teeth and just says, go to Yeezy.com. And then I guess what he did was he pulled off every other piece of merchandise on his website. There's one shirt available, and it just has a giant swastika. That's it. That's it. That's all he got.
What?
Producer Gabe, do you have your phone handy? Can you confirm this for us? Yeezy.com?
Can you confirm or deny
free
these
promo.
allegations? Whoa.
But my favorite tweet of the whole weekend, he's just been tweeting crazy stuff about Jews and black people and all kinds of stuff. Is this true?
It's true. It's true. You know what? I'm going to pull it up.
How much is it?
People at home can see.
Is it like $6 million or something?
Just one shirt.
It's just the shirt.
Just one shirt.
HH-01, but I'm not seeing a price list.
Do you know what HH stands for?
Hail Hitler?
Yes. That's why you'll see like the prisoners, you'll see like the double lightning bolts, which are like
SS. Yeah.
You'll see that, but then you'll see 88, which is 88 is Heil Hitler. It's the 8th letter of the alphabet.
I
see that in a lot of the.
So
Dude, that is crazy.
This is my favorite tweet.
I'm not seeing a price though.
So I don't like the whole like anti-Jew stuff, anti-black stuff. I don't like that stuff. But my favorite tweet from Kanye, and he got a point. He said, I hate fat bitches. I think they should all be sex offenders because sexually I'm offended by them. And I thought that was great.
Wow. Like at what point do you get to where you can just start doing that? Like where's Bryce Mitchell right now? Like
he's getting shit on. It's funny because I was with somebody and they're reading his tweets and they go, "Oh my God, Kanye is going to get canceled." And I was just laughing. I'm like, you can't cancel someone that just keeps going.
Care, yeah.
He keeps going harder into it. It's impossible.
Yeah, he's doubling, tripling down.
You're going to cancel me? All right. Well, let's say some new stuff about Jews, and then where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Like if the rage doesn't go, he's got money. You can't take money away from him. So then what?
Yeah. Let's talk fights.
All right.
Let's get it going.
All right, let's get into it. So we're going to be
sexually
going
offended.
in the order that's listed on Tapology. So the first fight we have,
what we got,
is Gabriel Bonfim minus 230 versus Khaos Williams at plus 190.
I'm going opposite on everything here.
What does that mean?
You know what it means. I like Bonfim. I think he's very good. I think he does a lot of stuff really well. His stand-up. So first of all, I mean, he's a grappler at heart. He wants to submit people like, we know that. You see him with Angelus fight. Is that how you say that? Angelusa. And Ange is a really good grappler. He's the judo guy. He's getting the takedowns. He's doing that. We see in that fight, once Gabriel Bonfim gets fighting a little bit, his stand-up gets a little labored. And he gets a little tired, and he's not a comfortable stand-up fighter once the fight goes on. Early he is. But then as it goes on, you can tell he's definitely a better grappler. And then he's a little bit hittable. And Angelus, I think, was just a really good opponent for him to not completely death gas. And, of course, went to decision. And we kind of figured that fight would go to a decision because the fight before that, he death gassed and
made corrections.
Yes, overcorrected. We saw the Munar Lazez fight, whatever. And, again, great guillotine, anaconda, darce.
That's nasty.
Series of stuff. The level of competition he's fighting is definitely not the top tier of the UFC fighters. All right. And Khaos Williams, for as chaotic as he is, he actually does a lot of stuff well. Like, he's not a bad fighter. He does a lot of stuff well. His defensive grappling is good enough, and he knows where he's good. And the biggest thing, though, is he's got good cardio. And he doesn't panic. And I can really see, look, Bonfim is a more technical fighter, don't get me wrong. But he is very, very, very hittable once the second and the third round comes along. And Khaos Williams is a guy who just isn't overly tired. He does all the right stuff. He doesn't panic. He's really hard to finish. I like Khaos Williams here for the upset.
I can see that argument. I think it's weird. There is actually a bunch of fighters on this card. We just have no idea how good they are or are not yet. And for me, it's still the Bonfims because we've seen excellent performances and we've seen really poor performances on both sides.
I think he's the older, smaller Bonfim is the better one.
Yes.
I think the Gabriel Bonfim, who we're talking about now, is good. I think he's more of a one-trick pony. Not that he is a one-trick pony, but he's very, he has that one thing he's really good at, and then he's not as well-rounded as his brother, where I think his brother is a little bit more well-rounded, but doesn't have that, really high note.
I think he's going to win this fight, and I think he's going to win it clear and decisively, only for the fact, so that is my biggest concern, is that Khaos stays very, very calm. And I don't even know if it's him being calm or he's just kind of like came up in a hard way, and that's just how he is.
If he just doesn't panic. He's just not worried about it.
Dude, I've seen 9 people die this week in my neighborhood. You think I'm scared of you, man?
Yep.
Do you ever remember that meme that they made? It was called the favelas versus the hood. And it was all the black fighters on one side, all the Brazilians on the others. That's what we got. We got hood versus the favelas.
Yeah.
I think the favela is going to win out here, literally only because of the punching. Khaos hits hard as shit, but he punches like he hits hard as shit.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of like wide and from the hips, and he's putting his soul into each one. Not that Bonfim doesn't do that, but his punches are just cleaner, more precise. I think he's just got a more well-rounded game, in my opinion.
Okay. I think he does have I think he's the better fighter. I think, though, when, like, as the fight goes on, I think that he kind of gets a little uncomfortable. Not even that he's bad. I just don't think he's comfortable in those exchanges later in the fight.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
I also think that Khaos is going to get caught up in being slower to the punch. He may be calm, but I think he's going to get frustrated when he keeps getting touched and cannot touch Bonfim.
Okay.
That's just how I feel. I think that Khaos is going to swing wide out of frustration. I think Bonfim's going to put him to sleep in this fight.
Okay.
All right, cool. Next up, we have Angela Hill minus 125 versus Ketlen Souza plus 105.
Well, this is another fight. So this is the one to me where I said, I don't understand. I don't know how good Ketlen Souza is or not is. There's been tape that we've seen of her that was not good. And then her last fight, she was losing to Hargui, who's very, very good.
Yep.
But then she nuked her. And that combination, that was like a man punching. She was getting picked apart on the feet the whole first round. But the way that she threw that hook and put her out, and then her ability to get to the back, I love Angie Hill. I think she's one of the most solid fighters. She is just an ultra vet of all ultra vets. My issue here is that she lost to Tabitha Ricci last fight. Right? Make arguments either way, however you feel. But Tabitha's striking is not good. I would put Souza striking above Tabitha's just in how she sits down on her punches. She's got great volume, just a little more put together. I think her jiu-jitsu is better than Tabitha's. So I think she's just more dangerous. And then physicality is kind of an interesting one because Tabitha is very physical, but she's also very tiny. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, I think
the thing with Tabitha, though, that's different than Souza is her forward pressure. She's always running you to the cage and driving you there, which helps her win a lot of these fights where she would normally lose to, I mean, not normally lose, but like these other people are better, but she gets people backing up and pushes them to the cage and these long extended combos. And that just, when you do that over and over, it looks like more is happening.
She's doing
but
so much with so little
is gonna yes. I don't know that Souza is going to blitz as much and that same forward pressure.
The thing is, I don't know that she has to because Angie's going to be there to fight her.
Yes.
Angie doesn't run. Angie's going to be right in front of her. She loves to set things up with the jab and then start putting volume later on, mixing in takedowns. I guess the takedowns.
It's the takedowns because Angie's takedown game has elevated hugely over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and she's very comfortable.
Yep.
I worry for Angie on the feet in this fight because she is there to get hit. She does get hurt quite a bit. She's 40 years old now. I know black doesn't crack, but at some point it's got to go. You know, Souza just melted one of your top prospects. Before that, she beat the shit out of Marnik Man, which is showing you that UFC obviously has given her a couple layups here and there. And so part of me is wondering if this is a passing the torch fight. My best advice is it's Souza or pass. But if Angie's going to win, you're going to be able to get a nice live spot if she's doing well. Yeah. I think after the first round, it's probably going to be all Angie Hill. So I'm going to pick Souza on this one. I think she's just very dangerous, and she's a lot younger, and she hits really hard. So I'm going to go with Souza.
I'm on the other side of that for just, I get it. She's old and we're waiting for her to just die, but she hasn't yet. And so we have to assume until she dies, like, again, you don't know where the edge is. You know what I mean? Just like you just keep going and going and going. And at some point she's going to fall off, but where? Is it this fight? Is it next fight? Is it the one afterwards? That's the hard part. And she still has her movement and she always has really good cardio. She always has really good movement. And she has added that wrestling into her game and then the jiu-jitsu side into her game as well. And so, but Uruguay, we saw her get starched another time. And so I think that's more of a Uruguay thing than a Ketlen thing.
So we're overrating the performance on Souza.
I think we are. And
she can't put away Marnik Man, who's a punching bag.
Yes. And imagine if Uruguay didn't just get death snipe. I mean, I think we're overdoing it. And I think Angie is smart enough. She doesn't really take a lot of damage.
I don't know about that. And you also said good cardio. She's the weirdest one to me because she is a cardio volume fighter, but she does get really tired, but she pushes through.
But she goes through it. Yeah. So I just, until I see like a big drop, if Angie Hill, again, Angie's not going to beat the top 10 fighters anymore, but she's the gatekeeper right now.
Honestly, I don't know. Angie's really, I think on Angie's best day, I mean, look at the Lemos fight. Didn't she get robbed in the Lemos fight?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. She's been robbed in almost every fight, and all of those girls that she got split decision losses where she should have won were all top 10 girls.
Well, yeah, and that's what I mean. Like she's the ones who are winning those split decisions are the top 10, top 15 that are going to move up, and the ones that aren't are the ones that she's the middle. She's, if you can get by Angie Hill, all right, well now you have a shot at some things. I don't think that Ketlen Souza is going to get by Angie Hill, and I don't think she's going to reach that upper echelon right now where she's at.
This is the last thing for me. We just watched Invicta, and they made all these Brazilian girls underdogs to all the other girls. And, you know, as someone who's dated a girl in Brazil, it's funny what she told me was she goes, I need to have my MMA career here in the United States because if I fight in Brazil, every single girl that fights in Brazil is just like Amanda Lemos. The issue and the reason they're not getting to the UFC is because they're all fighting each other. So there's only one girl that can emerge out of the favelas. Yeah. The rest of them are just as good. They're losing to the other girls who are that good. Yeah. And so we watched Invicta and we just watched all these Brazilian girls just mow down everybody else. And that's what I worry about a little bit here is that whatever's in the water in Brazil, whatever juice they're drinking, is going to come into play here. And we're going to see this takeover of these Brazilians. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Welcome back, guys. We spent 30 minutes on the Angie Hill fight.
And we're going to spend 7 seconds on the next 4 really good fights you care about.
Next up, we have Rafael Estevam, minus 360 versus Jesus Aguilar, plus 285.
I think that's lined about right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't think there's too much to say about this one, except for Estevam's wrestling is really good. Like
he's nasty. Anyone who can get Charles Johnson down like that over and over again.
That's the key to it. Over and over and over again. And then even in the third round, he was tired, but he still like didn't die, pushed through, was still chaining some stuff. And his striking's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's not like you see Khabib, where his stand-up was pretty bad. But his grappling was so good that you expect it. You can't be that good at everything. But Estevam's, his striking's not bad. It's fine. It's very Brazilian Muay Thai-ish, and he does all right. Aguilar, he's got an overhand and a guillotine. And if he can't land the overhand of the guillotine, then he's going to lose a fight. And he is a powerhouse. He's a strong, guy. But I think Estevam just wrestles him to death. My only issue is it decision or submission? I think we're probably going to see a decision out of this one just because, I don't know. I think Estevam by decision in a very dominant fashion.
So one, I don't know what compelled me one time to bet on Jesus Aguilar against Mateus Mendonça or whatever. How he won that fight, honestly, is kind of beyond me.
Right.
Mendonça, to me, is way better than Aguilar. Aguilar is awful. He's 5'4". All he has an overhand and a guillotine, pulls guard. He's just a complete... I don't want to say for the podcast, but it's funny. I was just looking up. I don't know why this comparison came to my mind. Estevam's grappling reminds me of Chaz Skelly.
Okay. I could see that.
He's just like latches onto you. He shoots from far away and then just like sucks you in, hangs on you, grabs to your back, just like climbs it. He just climbs you like a little tree. I remember Chaz Skelly, his body looks like shit. His stand-up is the worst you've ever seen, but he would just dog guys out and he'll just latch onto you and he never lets go. How Estevam reminds me. But Estevam good. He's good everywhere.
No, he is, yeah.
And yeah, we don't need to spend a lot of time on this one. I think this is right. Estevam.
Okay.
All right, next we have Valter Walker, minus 225 versus Dontel Mays, plus 185.
Give me your thoughts.
Okay, that line's getting interesting.
Wait, sorry, what was the...
Walker, minus 225. Mays, plus 185.
Okay.
It's weird. This morning earlier when I was looking at the lines, Mays was like plus 150, and I think Walker was somewhere in the hundreds, minus 100 something. That line I think was a lot more playable than whatever we're at now. Somebody got a good bite on that because I initially looking at this match, I was like, dude, Mays is gonna kill him. Walker is awful. But then I watched Mays again, and I watch him go down, and I watch him do stupid stuff constantly. And Walker, for as bad as he is, awful stand up. He's fought tomato cans everywhere. He just is no cardio. He's just really as bad as they come. But he does keep fighting until the very end. Even if he's exhausted, he's still shooting takedowns. He's still finding this stuff. And I think one takedown, Mays is on his back the rest of the round. And if he's not, inevitably he's going to throw a spinning wheel kick and fall over, and Walker's going to get on top. I don't have a big interest in this fight on the current lines. I think Walker wins.
I was the same way. As I'm like, man, I'm watching Dontel Mays first. I'm like, man, can he just outlast the ape of Walker to just, can he
3 minutes?
Yeah, can he do it? Can he do it? And I think he can. I think he can. But here's the thing: is like you said, if he does get taken down, Mays will. I think he'll get up once, and then he'll get taken down again, and
that's a wrap.
Yeah, he's gonna get up once or twice in the first round, and then he'll stay on his back a little bit after that. If he can get out of round 1 or even into round 3, you kind of think, okay, well now he's gonna do it. Who just fought? Jamal Pogues. Jamal Pogues just fought recently.
Everyone makes that comparison, and they are very different. Pogues is nice.
They're not. They will not fight. They're so low volume. Like Pogues, look, he got robbed in that fight. He should have won it.
Yes.
But when you're just standing there and you have a heavy bag in front of you and you're not doing enough to take the fight, you can't be mad when you lose a close decision. Look, everyone knows that he should have won, but not to the extent of like I don't even remember who he fought. If he had thrown whoever his opponent was who sucked, had thrown Hamdi, wasn't it Hamdi?
Yeah.
If he had thrown three more combinations, he would have won. It's like it was such a low volume fight that the margins are, you throw a punch, he throws a punch, somebody wins a fight. And that's Dontel Mays, is that his style is different than Pogues, but the volume's not. And so I'm looking at this, I'm going, man, if Mays had a little bit of a sense of urgency, like think about who was it, Tafa, that Walker fought last, and the weird one, but was just like throwing and going and swinging and just flailing. If Mays had a little sense of urgency, he could beat Walker. If he had a little sense of urgency in the second round, if he gets through it into the third round as Walker fades, which we know he will, if he would just go, give me Dontel Mays all the time. But he stands there and he's going to move and he's going to try and draw it out, and then he's going to one punch him. And Walker's not tired. Walker's not death gassing. Even Bresky in the upset will throw. Like he was making him work, throwing, busy work.
Bresky's become a nice UFC fighter. His pre-UFC tape was tragic. It was horrible. And so it's weird because I'm thinking about the two styles, Bresky and Mays. Bresky, for whatever he is, fights really hard.
Yes.
His hands are clean and he doesn't make mistakes. He just is bad. So sometimes, people get him down or people will hurt him because he's not
he's frail. Somebody who knocked him out recently.
But he does the right things and he's got good hands.
Yep.
And Mays does the wrong things and his hands aren't as good as Bresky.
Yep.
And you still could have made a case for Walker in the last fight.
Yeah.
It was very close.
So anyway, that's it. I think Walker wins it. I think Dontel Mays could win. You give this guy a cup of coffee before the fight, and
anyone can beat Walker on any given day.
Yes, but you have to try. Here's the difference. Walker's not good, but he knows how he's going to win, and he tries to win. Dontel Mays is much better, but he doesn't know how he's going to win, and he just reacts to what is there.
If he fucks his face again, I'm all in.
Let's go.
Next up, we have Vince Morales plus 195 versus Elijah Smith minus 238.
Producer, where are you finding these odds at?
DraftKings.
Okay, we need to look at some Bet Online. Can we pull a Bet Online, please?
Yeah, let me see.
Because
I think that's a little bit of a wide spread here with Elijah Smith and Morales. You don't think so?
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah,
I think it's insane.
Yeah.
So the odds on Bet Online, Morales is plus 200. Elijah Smith is minus 235.
Okay, I mean, it's a little better. I saw a plus 2 something, and yeah, you go ahead on this one.
So Morales is actually really good. He's good. Our guy Hunter just fought him. Hunter was beating him for 2 rounds and then ended up getting caught in a Peruvian necktie. Now, Hunter will never say this, but he was sick the whole week. Gosh, so many times, like, you just, And not just our fighters, like just people. Like you see these bad performances. Somebody was actually telling me the Oregon-Ohio State National Championship game. I guess a bunch of the Oregon players were sick with COVID going in. And what do? Like, producer Gabe, you've been sick fight day, and like there's just nothing you can do. You can't be like, oh, I don't feel well. I've been sick. I've been sick, and I've lost, and we all have.
I had mono.
Yep, everybody's been sick. It just sucks. It's part of the sport. It just sucks.
Well, when you're cutting weight, your immune system's dropping like crazy. Yep. Now you're susceptible.
Yeah. Anyway, but Morales is really good. His submission game is good. He loves to hunt chokes. He loves when people shoot, which I don't know if Elijah Smith will shoot, but
he will shoot 100%.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that he shoots. And if he does, man, Vince Morales is going to be looking for chokes. Actually, I might have even said this on the podcast. I remember when Hunter fought Vince, they were scrambling. Hunter took him down. Vince reversed. It was like reverse. And at one point, Hunter was down and started wrestling up. And I said, and I know that Morales loves this Darce and Anaconda chokes, and they're right near our corner. I said, hey, wrist control on the way up. He's looking for the Darce. And Morales, mid-round, looks at me and goes, and just shakes. And I was like, I like him. He's just kind of in a nice way of like shit talking and messing and like going. He was just like a
bit of a showman.
Yeah, he was just looking at me like basically don't tell him.
I love that shit. I try to do that too. I love it.
I couldn't even be mad. I actually went up to him afterwards. I said, "You're a real son of a bitch," and he was like, "What?" I said, "I fucking like it. Good for you, man. Like whatever." But he has really good chokes, really good front chokes. He hits hard and he's durable. We saw even with Lapalus, like he won't die.
And he took Lapalus down.
Yeah, he took Lapalus down,
which is a feat. And it's honestly, Vince is not known for his wrestling. Taking Lapalus down, put it on a resume.
Now, here's the thing, though. Elijah Smith is long, and he's fast, and he's young. And with Hunter was piecing Vince up round 1 and 2, and you actually even hurt him a little bit. Hunter hits hard. He has like dinosaur bones.
Hunter hits really hard.
But here's the thing is like he got really tired in round 3. I don't know that Smith is going to. I think Smith is still going to be.
Did you watch his Contender Series fight?
I did, and that was such a chaotic pace, and he did fade.
But he was also fighting a guy that the first 2 rounds gave him 0 resistance.
Yeah, that's true. He went too much into it. I think Vince is going to win. All right, so I think Vince is going to win.
I was about to yell at you. We're trying to get to a Vince play here.
I think I think Vince is going to win. But I also think Elijah is very athletic. I think he does a lot of stuff really well. I don't think he's gonna death gas his way out. And I think Vince has got to really now Elijah can win if Vince sits back. Junior Cortez fought Vince Morales. Or not Vince, I'm sorry, Elijah.
Elijah knocked him out.
And yeah, it was I think Elijah was 2 or 3-0 at the time, and we told Junior, we said, hey, this kid is really good. And in a few years, you don't want to fight this kid. But it's too early right now. Like, go big brother him. He's gonna throw everything he has at you, and you're gonna be standing there now phased, and he's gonna panic. And Junior just calf kicked him and just didn't get phased out and ended up knocking him out. That's exactly it. I don't think we're gonna see him panic like that against a Morales. I think he's gonna be matured. I don't think he's ready for somebody as seasoned as Morales. Morales has a lot of losses, but man, he's a good fighter. And I think that Elijah Smith is almost like Bonfim, but nowhere near levels. Very technical and very good, but just not ready for that dog grind fight that he's going to get with Morales. So I do think Morales wins, but I think it's actually going to be kind of a close fight.
I don't think it's going to be close at all. Here's why I say this. So one, I have a lot of familiarity with not only him, but his dad as well. Okay. When I first started training MMA way back in 2012, 2013, something like that. His dad was actually the coach at my gym, Gregory Smith. And he was on Ultimate Fighter. I think he fought in the UFC like once or something like that. Let me just give you guys the real part of Colorado training. There's not a lot of good coaches in Colorado. There's not a lot of technical coaches in Colorado outside of the big teams like the Elevation and stuff like that. He trains at Victory, which is his dad's gym in a small part in Colorado Springs. You have a lot of training partners that are like journeyman 5-5 regional guys, losing fighters. Here's one boxer, one wrestler. You just try to make it all work. I've been to that gym. I've trained there once. It was fine. It was just putting a lot of athletic bodies in one room. Yep. And the way that I watch him, first of all, let's go just his level of competition. Okay. His best win, me looking at this list, his best win is Christian Strong. Christian Strong was an amazing wrestler and he knocked him out. Okay, round 1, minute and 18 seconds, knocked him out. Good for him. He beat Dimas Chapa, who's a guard player, has a lot of holes in his game. Other than that, he beat Robert Trujillo. Oh, okay, that's a fine win. Jacob Creedle's 1-2. He beat Josh Walker, who has the worst chin on earth. And you know Josh Walker because Junior just beat him as well. He's a fine fighter, but he has really bad cardio issues himself. And he beat Aaron Tao, who's got very little skills, is just very tough. In that fight, he almost got finished in the last round and looked pretty bad coming up. Vince Morales is fighting top guys in Risen. He's fighting Taylor Lopolis. He's fighting the top guys.
And he fought Lopolis
everywhere.
on a week's notice.
On a week's notice. He is an ultra vet. He is so comfortable. The way he walks forward while still getting hit, putting pressure. The thing is Elijah Smith is 22. He was an okay.
It's too soon.
He was an okay high school wrestler. He didn't win states. He was an okay high school wrestler. You can see
Hunter was a 4-time Montana state champion and wrestled in college.
Yes.
And they were going at it. You know,
honestly, for me, the only way I think Elijah can win is a first round knockout. You can watch him. He is dynamic. He can really swing. He's got fast punches. He's really long. He's super athletic, but you can tell he's not comfortable yet. He has no rhyme or rhythm for doing anything he's doing. He just reacts. And then the second that he gets touched or uncomfortable, he starts shooting. And I think Vince is going to stay in his face the entire time. If he doesn't get knocked out in the first, he's just going to batter him. And I think the issue with this line is a lot of people are looking at this like Elijah Smith, like he's Jacoby Smith.
Yeah.
Coming off the Contender Series, they're looking at him like a blue chip prospect. Jacoby Smith was a national champion wrestler in college. This Elijah Smith was a decent high school wrestler. There's a very big difference. He's not a blue chipper to me. He's athletic and he's black and he's got tattoos. He looks cool. But I think Vince Morales is like, dude, he's fighting way better guys than that in the gym every single day.
Yeah.
Give me Vince Morales. This is a fucked up line. Plus 200. I love it.
All right.
Next, we have Julia Avila plus 135 versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti minus 500.
I don't know who either of these people are.
Dude, what are we doing here with this fight? This is an insane fight. How is this even made?
I don't even know who these people are or what we're doing.
Julia Avila is 40 years old and she cannot strike to save her life or wrestle. And she just got fucking 30-25 by Misha Tate.
Oh, that's right.
Jackie Cavalcanti is beating girls on a week's notice, smacking them around, beating every scary girl in the division. I've trained with her once. She's massive and she's a good striker. Like, what are we doing here? I think she's going to knock Avila out. Like, what can Avila even do here? All right,
there we have it, folks. And we out.
Is that it? Is that all we got?
Dude, that's a criminal fight.
That was too much said.
That's a criminal fight. Why are they even putting this fight on? And why is she not minus 2,000? She's a 40-year-old, just had babies. She's like doing CrossFit. And now she's going to go fight this girl that's like fighting everybody all over.
All right, cool. Moving on. Next, we have Rodolfo Vieira minus 215 versus Andre Petroski at plus 185.
This fight, these two on paper are very similar. Not even on paper, just in reality. Like they're both grappler, just steroided ape grapplers. Not, I don't know if they're steroided, just steroid. You know, just muscled up, muscled up ape grapplers. Striking is not either of their strong suits, but they're both getting better.
Rodolfo's a good striker, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, like he's a jiu-jitsu guy first, and then he started picking up striking. His striking has improved significantly. Petroski is not a bad striker per se. Like,
I don't think he's good.
He's not good, but he's not like, you're not like, oh man, this is horrible. He throws good, heavy, hard power shots.
He's not a good striker. He just hits hard.
Yeah. But he's not like, we've seen worse. We've seen worse.
The only worst I've seen is Julia Avila in the aforementioned fight. That's it. That's the only worst that I've seen.
I think when they start, man, Petroski can grapple though. The boy can grapple. But the other thing though too is I think, is he going to want to grapple Vieira? All right. And so then if he does try to grapple Vieira, I wouldn't be surprised to see that negated pretty quickly and Vieira re-grappling him or exiting out. But I think if Vieira grapples Petroski, I think he'll get a takedown and he will Petroski's a wrestler first and a jiu-jitsu guy second. Vieira is a jiu-jitsu guy and a wrestler second, but I think he's a good enough wrestler to get Petroski down. And if he does, jiu-jitsu guys control a lot better than wrestlers. So I think he will have more success in the grappling area. I think this is mainly going to be decided on the feet two grapplers that are like, you go, no, you go, no, you go. Now let's just strike. And then I think Vieira's striking is better. I think his footwork is looser. He's light on his feet.
He's kind of nice on the feet.
Yeah, 1-2s down the middle. Whereas Petroski is big, looping, swinging stuff, big, over-dramatic power shots that I think Vieira is going to see. And then if it comes down to just pure cardio, like these two are just dogging it out, going crazy. And both of them have had cardio issues in the past. I think Vieira wins this. I think Vieira is going to be a little bit more relaxed in the grappling department than Petroski will be. And I think I like his cardio to hold up a little bit more. I like his striking a little bit better. I like his jiu-jitsu. Like if Petroski's an 8 on everything, I like Vieira as a 9 on everything. And they're very similar in skill sets all around. I just think Vieira is just a little bit better in the areas that he needs to be, where Petroski is good as well. So I think it's a 30-27, 29-28, somewhat uneventful affair with Vieira winning.
Okay. Yeah, I think Vieira is going to smoke him. But there is some interesting dynamics to this fight. I think Petroski is a far better wrestler. Or he actually wrestled on the college level versus Rodolfo coming from jiu-jitsu background and kind of learning that way. But in an MMA setting, man, Rodolfo is strong as they can be. His footwork, like you said, is really good. And I love, he's got that karate style because he works with, what's his name, Monto or whatever?
Yeah, Manos.
The Brazilian Taekwondo guy.
Yep. Who's actually awesome.
Yeah, he's cool. And he kind of picked up that like leaping in jab from him, and he's really clean with that. You know, we've seen these two guys have cardio issues. One guy had a cardio issue against Fluffy Hernandez. The other guy had cardio issues against literally everybody else.
Except for Fremd elevation.
Yeah, because you offer zero resistance. It's hard to have bad cardio when your opposition is zero resistance. When
you're just lying down.
Same with Budka, same thing. Yeah, I think Rodolfo's better everywhere. He's a way better striker. Jiu-jitsu, it's going to be a levels shocking fight, levels of jiu-jitsu in that fight. But the wrestling is where I could see the issue, right? If Petroski's going to have to wrestle for his life. And the only thing about Rodolfo, he's not a bottom player. His entire upbringing through jiu-jitsu, the black belt killer when he was, in his old days, he's a top player. He's a take you down. He's a better wrestler than the rest of the soy jiu-jitsu guys. And then he's a nasty top player. If he gets put on his back and then Petroski starts working him cardio-wise, then we might see something different. So I'm going to pick Rodolfo, but just on that principle alone of just the cardio, because either one could push each other past the brink. I think the only look I'm gonna look at is a round 2 or 3 knockout for Vieira.
Okay.
Next up, we have Edmen Shahbazyan -360 versus Dylan Budka +295.
Do you want to go on this?
Yeah, I'll go on this. How is Edmen still being lined -360 now?
No.
And not only that, like he's gonna smoke. Like it's gonna be one of the most brutal one-sided beatings in the first round. It would be insane. He's going to kill Budka in the first round. But then if Budka survives, because Budka is just kind of known for just being there. He's not really good anywhere, but he just kind of exists. I think about Budka and I think about Gerald Meerschaert. Meerschaert is a corpse. Meerschaert just like is there.
Yes, but that
He's
son
slow.
of a bitch won't die. And when he knows when he gets a hold of shit, how to finish it.
He's the funniest fighter maybe in the whole UFC.
Dude, I'm telling you, do not compare Budka and Meerschaert. It doesn't make sense.
Meerschaert put up 10 times better of a fight than Kevin Holland.
I know.
he put RDR to the brink while he's literally like, hold on, guys, help me up so I can stand up in the middle of a fight. And Budka's actually a young guy. He's youthful. He moves well, wrestled in college. He
doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to. Here's the thing. We see it all the time. We see it all the freaking time is you have people who are really, really good and they like to compete, but they don't like to fight. And that is Jesus. Like,
you heard that?
Oh my God. Like,
you heard that too?
If you guys didn't hear that,
that come in on the mics. Did you think we heard that on the mic?
He like turned his head and just cracked. Like his whole spine snapped off.
Also, producer Gabe, are we playing for sure? You don't have the headphones on?
We're good.
Are you sure?
No, he's not. Because
if this is gone, you're fired for sure.
He's ruined. Anyway, but like Budka, he won't fight. He just isn't there to win. He's there to not lose. And if he's just better than somebody, he'll beat him. I just can't get behind Budka because I don't think that he's going to go try to take it at any point.
Do you think -360 on Edmen's a good bet?
I think anything against Budka is a good bet.
But literally, that's the thing about Edmen. At any point, he will implode. At any given point.
Yeah, but if you look at the guys who are like not dying against him, they're good guys.
Meerschaert cannot wrestle a lick. A lick.
I mean, you see him wrestle a little. Like,
He's my new favorite. Honestly,
he's
Meerschaert.
awesome.
Meerschaert is the new Botchniak for me.
Yeah, with the firefighter mustache. Like, man, like
he's just there, and he
there.
makes fights so competitive for being as awful.
It doesn't make sense. But man, Budka, for doing all the right stuff, he's like the best, worst fighter in the UFC right now.
But
I think he's going to lose. I think he's going to go out there. He's going to get hit once, and he's going to not want to fight. Whereas Edmen, at least, look, he'll death gas, but man, at least he tries to win.
He's skill for skill. He's infinitely better than Budka. But okay, let's do some MMA math. We just watched Bakoyev, that Russian guy. Did he kill Zach Reese? Is he alive still?
No, I think he's dead.
He might have killed him.
Funeral.
Budka arguably won that fight in a 5-round fight against Bakoyev. Defended takedowns, whooped his ass on the feet. He made that fight. I thought Budka won that fight. And
I could agree with you on that.
And I had a bet on Bakoyev. Bakoyev's a Dagestani big-time wrestler, ATT. Made that extremely competitive over 5 rounds. Edmen is going to have the greatest first round ever. Of course, he might drop him 6 times, 7 times. I think you're going to build for an incredible live number if you really want to take Budka.
See, I think he's going to win round 1 hugely. And then I think Budka can't hurt Shahbazyan, though. I think he can just.
He doesn't need to.
No,
he's so good at getting the double leg wrapped around the butt, picking him up, dropping him, and then he's heavy on top. He is.
I think it will. I think the tide will turn a lot, but I think that Shahbazyan is going to do enough to win, and then not get finished when. If it was if it's Meerschaert's going in for the kill round 3. He's jumping on the neck going. Budka, I think we're going to hear the announcer say like, he needs a knockout or a finish. Why is he going in for the takedown with a minute left?
Yeah, because he has no weapons.
Yes.
That's the thing. He's not a dangerous fighter.
That's the thing, is he doesn't have weapons. And in a 5-round fight, I think it actually like favors him to where the cardio and he just looks better and he won't die and he lands some stuff. But in a 3-round fight, I think Edmen wins round 1. And then I think Edmen knows people who he should be scared of and people he shouldn't. And I don't think he's going to be afraid of Budka. And I think that's going to be such a big difference where round 2, he's going to still dominate. Even if he's tired, he's going to do enough to win it.
I don't know. I think Edmen crumbles when guys just are still there after he beats the life out of them. And Budka, it's weird. He's the opposite of the Ketlen Souza.
Yeah.
She's dangerous with her hands and she's dangerous with jiu-jitsu. That whole middle section is completely gone from her game. And Budka's the opposite. He has no danger, but he's got the middle part where he's there.
Yeah.
His cardio's fine. He exists, and then he'll eventually get takedowns. I mean, Edmen round 1 KO is a no-brainer here. I'm just gonna wait for, dude. He's gonna knock out Budka's future children. Like that's how bad he's gonna beat him in the first round. Set by the 8th drop, I'm taking Budka live. Plus 7,000. I'm going to get him on a live line. His fucking eye is falling out. His fucking nose is shattered. And somehow he's still going to come back and win. I'm going to pick Edmen to win the fight. But, hey, I'm honing in on the plus 7.
God damn it. You fought me all the way to say that.
Edmen's going to win round 1 knockout.
All right, next we have Jose Delgado minus 275 versus Connor Matthews at plus 235.
All right, my long-winded ass is up again.
Go.
I saw Delgado at a coffee shop not that long ago. I said, what's up? Great fight on Contender Series, so I picked Delgado.
Okay, I like that. That's good logic. I think, what is it, Connor Matthews? Yeah, I think Connor Matthews is actually one of the better guys out of New England Cartel. We talked about that. There's something about a lot of those Northeast guys that I feel like they're lacking the fight. Like they're trying to almost be too technical for their own good. And they're missing that like dogged, hard-nosed wrestling. Let's just throw down. And I don't know. There's something there that is missing. And I think Matthews is very technical. And I think he's more technical than Delgado. I think Delgado is just a mean, angry son of a bitch who is just tough. And I think he's technical enough, but I think a mix of his just technique and doggedness and pressure. And I like him to win this. I think it's either a third round stoppage or could be even a kind of a dominant decision. But I like Delgado here by a good amount. I just don't know if he's going to get the finish or if it's going to be a longer, if Matthews is good enough to kind of withstand it.
I will say this, though. This is going to be an interesting one to look out for. I don't know if props are out yet. I'm sorry, guys. I did not look. Delgado's really good. I think he's got great cardio. His striking is educated, but the thing is, he does love a firefight.
Yes.
He loves to just put his dick on the table and say, whose is bigger? And let's go see. And my biggest issue with Delgado, I watched his fight against Alberto Romo. Now, Romo, I've had my eye on for some time because I think he is awful. Awful, 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 awful. He almost nuked Delgado like several times in the first round. Like I think he dropped him 2 or 3 times, almost put him out.
But do you think Matthews has that type of power?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
only thing that Matthews has. His striking is fine, but he has big power. You can just watch some of his fights. I mean, all his pre-UFC stuff were all first round knockouts, obviously in CES or whatever.
That's the thing is I can't take him seriously because they're in CES.
No, but he hits hard.
Okay.
He does hit hard. He's not bad. He really is just kind of good everywhere. I don't think he's bad. I wouldn't play Delgado at this line. I think the line is way too heavy. I think the only play I'd want to make on this fight is Connor Matthews by knockout. Because I think when Delgado does step into the fire, Matthews has a really good chin.
He's a little loopy.
He does get a little loopy. He gets a little wild, and he tries to go for the kill. Mm-hmm. Matthews has a good chin. He keeps it really simple. He's shown really good cardio. He has the craziest output in his fights. What was the fight? Is against Francis Marshall?
Yeah.
And they're going to war, and he was just barely getting beat to the punch. I've never seen a fight that was so competitive, but the one guy clearly lost every round, but it was very competitive. Yeah. Dude, I might be going back to Connor Matthews here.
Okay.
I just think he's got a bigger. Dude, also, Delgado's not big.
No, he's not a huge guy.
I walked by Delgado. He's probably 2-3 inches taller than me, but he's very skinny. Yeah. Matthews filled out. He has power. I'm going to go Matthews on this one. I'm switching up.
Okay.
All right. Next, we have Ismael Bonfim minus 175 versus Nazim Sadykhov plus 150.
This is the fight I was talking about before we went live. I have no idea how I want to even break this down because
they're both so good.
They're both so good. They're both like evenly matched. I would say the grappling is pretty. I think Sadykhov is a little bit of a better wrestler. Little. I mean, we're talking margins here.
I think he's a lot better.
I mean, like in the sense of like, I think he'll get the takedowns, but does he control? And like, it's not so like where it's like, you have a Khabib or somebody that's like Arman Sarukian, where like levels like that. I think
like a Budka versus Shahbazyan kind of thing.
And I think Bonfim's jiu-jitsu is a little bit better. What I don't like about Bonfim is that he will jump Gilly, and I don't be silly. Jump the Gilly. Man, did I tell you Ray Waters did that to me the other day?
Jump the Gilly?
He literally, we're wrestling, and he goes, "Don't be
H2Os."
He goes, "Don't be silly, Tino. Jump the Gilly," and then he jumped Gilly on my ass and submitted me.
He got it?
Oh, he did. I fought that tooth and nail. I actually grabbed one of his fingers and just one pinky and just pulled it down, hoping that would be enough to like stop it. And I was like scooting, and I had nothing left but like my ankle holding me in. And I was like, I'm going to go unconscious right now. I had to tap.
You know what? And you probably never expected that from Mr. H2Os.
Man, he literally yelled it and then did it.
A black man going for a submission? You kidding me?
Yeah. Anyway, so here's the thing is Bonfim on his striking, neither of these people really check kicks well. I mean, a lot of them, they just are eating them. Sadykhov, though, gets kicked and just spins. I mean, it's like, like it's kind of right. I mean, he just spins, and then Bonfim will throw him. Bonfim will eat the calf kicks, whatever. Here's the thing: Sadykhov is so much tighter down the middle with his strikes, and everything Bonfim does is chin out, big looping left hook, big looping right hook. He will go in and reach for that body quite a bit, and then other than that, I mean, these guys are really, really just tightly matched. I want to say I think I like Sadykhov on a technical level, just down the middle, sniping, doing stuff. But I like Bonfim on an aggressive level, throwing bigger and making the bigger moments. I don't like I already mentioned this. I don't like that Bonfim will jump guillotine because in a really, really close, tight fight, we've seen him do that, but it tends to be like the last little bit of a round where he just ends up losing the position, losing the moment. I don't know that you're going to submit Sadykhov from your back right there doing it. So now you're almost giving him a free 10 seconds top control, 20 seconds till you get back up. So I don't like that. I want to say, I think I like Bonfim just from bigger, more stuff, looks better. But I don't have a ton of faith in that. Now, honestly, I look at it almost like a coin flip, and I think Bonfim does more and is just a bigger puncher, bigger swinger, bigger moment fighter. So I think that is going to win him this. But I do think Sadykhov is a more technical fighter. And I think if it was like a 5-round fight or something, I would see Sadykhov really winning around 4 and 5 and doing enough damage. But in a 3-round fight, I don't know that he will. So I'm going to pick Bonfim. I think this is the fight I want to see this weekend.
Yeah, this is an incredible fight. I think they both have their drawbacks. Like you said, they're both pretty evenly matched on the feet. I agree with you. Sadykhov does a lot of stuff sometimes where you're like, dude, this guy is like an elite striker.
Yes.
The reads he makes, the head movement when he wants to, though, is the issue. He's not always engaged.
Yep.
He'll let moments pass him by. So they're both idiots in different ways. Both so talented, both really, really good. Bonfim's just Brazilian, so he's going to jump guard and do stupid shit. Sadykhov's arrogant. And Sadykhov takes the path of the most resistance instead of the path of least resistance, right? You're fighting Slava. Now, we just watched Did you watch Slava's fight this weekend?
Yes.
About as bad as can be.
He looked really bad. Like
really bad.
Father Time and that chin have caught up to him and CTE and just...
But, I mean, that was the one big miss that I made this weekend because I was watching Tom Nolan. He's not good either.
No, this is a battle of bad chins. And then in my head, looking at it, I was like, and I didn't watch tape. I was writing all weekend. You guys know. Like, the battle of bad chins. And then I was like, with a more technical striker is Slava.
By far.
Yeah. And then we saw how the fight played out.
Dude,
like,
but even
hell?
that, like when I was watching the film and he was fighting Reyes, he's just so slow. And he just walks straight forward.
Yeah.
Lazy jab, low kick. He's not a good striker at all.
Not at all.
And I'm thinking, dude, if the Slava that just fought Sadykhov shows up, where you watch that first round, he's going head, body, step off, liver shot, kick. He's incredible. He's just beating the piss out of Sadykhov. And instead of wrestling, Sadykhov's like, no, I'm going to strike.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go punch for punch.
He cracked that awful chin, luckily, and so he got a draw. But if he doesn't hurt Slava, he's going to go 3 rounds just content to just get his ass beat for 3 rounds. And that's my issue. He could have destroyed Slava. Just take him down over and over again. You are competitive on the feet, but one takedown is going to seal you each and every round. Instead, you fight tooth and nail with this guy who now looks like, I mean, dude, with the Slava that showed up on Saturday, if that's any indication of his level and Sadykhov had a close fight like that, I'm looking at Bonfim like, dude, Bonfim hits harder, better chin, better grappling. Like he's going to fill that space, fill that volume, bigger shots. I think this is a very close fight. I think Sadykhov is incredibly talented. He can do everything. I think that this is going to be a battle of arrogance versus Brazilian IQ. But
arrogance versus Brazilian IQ. No, I'm
that's true.
I'm with you. No, it absolutely is.
I'm going to go Bonfim on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. It wouldn't. Yeah, no, I think the arrogance. I think you're right. I think he's too down.
He knows
to
how
throw.
good he is too.
Yep.
All right. In the co-main, we have the next biggest underdog on the card right after Julia Avila. Calvin Kattar plus 325 versus Youssef Zalal at minus 390.
Isn't it wild to see Kattar at odds like that? Just
It
regardless
is,
of who he's fighting, but it's like I mean, I get it. Youssef looks amazing right now. Kattar's old. I get all the whole thing. It's still just wild to see him as a big dog. I mean, it's just weird. It was like seeing Israel Adesanya as a dog the other day in a non-title fight where you're just like,
well, he was the favorite, but
and then it flipped.
No, I don't know. It didn't flip.
Oh.
No. He stayed the favorite, but it's close. He was minus 125. Okay. And if this fight was 3 years ago, he would have been a minus 500 over Imavov.
It's just crazy to see Father Time and who's fighting and who's the next guy. And man, Zalal looks amazing right now. His movement, his low kicks are amazing. His wrestling has upped infinitely. Him moving up to 145. getting out of the UFC at such a young age and having those learning experiences where he kind of gets to have a repeat, like, oh man, I don't need to hold back anymore. Man, Zalal does everything right now, and it's hard to say that anything is going to change here. I mean, Kattar's as tough as it gets. His boxing is great, and even his low kicks was against Moicano. His low kicks were great, made great reads there. Just Father Time coming off of ACL, full blown ACL injury recovery. I think the Aljo fight isn't indicative. I think he's going to look a lot better than that physically. That was his first.
That was
fight
a
back.
bad style too.
Yes, and Aljo just constantly surprises with how good his wrestling is.
I respect Aljo now, honestly.
Yeah, his fight with Evloev. I mean, man, Aljo is Aljo. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that type of dominant fight from Zalal. I think it's just going to be Zalal's a little bit faster. I think his movement is going to be a little bit more, I guess, more difficult to deal with. Just touching, moving, this and that. And I think over the course of 3 rounds, Zalal is going to put together enough to get a 3-round decision over Kattar.
I'm with you. I've got a lot of messages like, have you seen this Calvin Kattar line? I understand. We just have, like, to me, it seems like Calvin Kattar barely ever fights either.
Yes. Yep.
He's always hurt, barely ever fights. That dude looks like he's got run through a meat grinder. He just looks like he's seen some shit. Like, he seems
it's just
like,
hard to know what you're getting when he shows up, especially at this age after that layoff.
I mean, it's got to feel like, especially after the last fight and the layoff before that, the wars that he's been in, it's got to feel like, to me, this is the end of his career.
Yeah.
The UFC knows what they're doing. Zalal's back. Zalal's winning. He's beating guys that are notoriously durable. He's doing really well for himself. I don't know. I would say that Calvin Kattar at +3 something is value. I would say that.
Yep.
You have a good fighter, but outside of a jab and a low kick, what else is Calvin Kattar? His game isn't diverse.
Yeah.
And
well, I don't know, man. His boxing is good. He honestly, I think his right hand is great. He will level change, mix to the body a lot. With Stevens, I mean, the read of that elbow, timing the jab into the elbow. I think he's a great fighter. I really do. I think he does a lot of stuff well. I think even his wrestling has come a long ways over the years. I think Calvin is really, really good. I think he just got old. And so,
what strategy do you think Zalal is gonna have for this fight? Do you think he's gonna go grappling takedowns?
I think he's gonna mix. I think if I were Zalal's coach for this fight, I would say mix a full-on MMA fight. Outside moving, do Zalal kick. Kattar wants to crash in and go, use that newfound wrestling. He's always had pretty good cardio to push and go.
His cardio is incredible. It just doesn't feel like Zalal he doesn't sit down on his punches.
No, but he doesn't need to because he has the volume and he mixes in so many knees and stuff coming up the middle. Like, you don't need to throw a knee hard for it to knock somebody out.
Yeah.
And he presses and he gets people guessing and looking and reaching. I like Zalal right now. I think he's really solid. Kind of reminds me of Diego Lopez when Diego Lopez came, got a shot in the UFC and it's just coming back and just tearing people up. It kind of reminds me of that. Like, we're going to see that type of.
Are they the same weight class?
Yes.
Ooh, yep. We might see that fight soon.
I think Lopez is a little bit higher up in the ranks right now. And so
but he's also going to sit out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And Zalal is staying busy.
That's a fight that I would like to see right now.
It's coming. It's coming, that fight.
But I like Zalal here. I think, honestly, at this point, he's one of those guys I'm like, man, he can do no wrong as long as he puts on a really good showing. And of course, if anyone puts on a good showing, what I mean is as long as he fights to his abilities and doesn't have, look, everyone can have a bad performance. Again, you get sick, you've got an injury, you've got this, you're tired that day, whatever. If he puts on a, personal best, I think we're going to see him kind of look really good against Kattar.
Yeah, I like Zalal by decision. I don't think he has, he does have that one submission. I think there was some injuries and stuff going on with the Billy Q. I think it's going to be Zalal by decision.
Yep, I'm with it.
All right, in the main event, we have Jared Cannonier at +160 versus RoboCop Gregory Rodrigues -185.
I'll go first, and then you end the show. Is how we usually do it. So I just want to take a look at this. Cannonier, amazing. If this fight's 2 years ago, it's weird because we've rated Cannonier so high based on that Marvin Vettori performance. We're like, dude, the guy threw 500 punches, landed 501 somehow, and never got tired, never slowed down. The reality is he is 40 years old now. He's going to be 41 next month. So he's a little older. We saw him get cracked. We saw his cardio not actually be that good in the last fight. fight, against Imavov, who's known for gassing, right? And that was the whole read on that entire fight. Now, Gregory Rodrigues and Cannonier's lost 2 in a row. Gregory Rodrigues is 32 years old. So he's 8 years younger, which is a big deal, in my opinion. He trains at one of the best gyms in the world. He's at Kill Cliff. Mainstay there, has been there forever. He's 7-2 in the UFC, beating Christian Leroy Duncan. Big win, big prospect. Brad Tavares, who journeyman, but he's a very good test. Very tough, very good test. Tululian, we don't care. Bruno Ferreira, he got caught, is what it is. But then he beat Chidi Njokuani, great win. Julian Marquez, depends on the time. At the time, it was a good win. He lost a split to Armen Petrosian, which I think most people would argue he won that fight. He beat Cody Steele in grappling, John Young Park by knockout, Todorovic, Frem. Like, the dude is good, man. He should be 8-1 in the UFC. He's got a lot of finishes, a lot of knockouts.
The competition is nowhere near the same level, though.
You can say that, but a lot of those guys are, I mean, those are not, they're not feeder people. They're not bad fighters.
Robert Whitaker, Adesanya, Imavov, like those are the guys Cannonier's fighting.
I'm going to look you in the eyes right now and tell you that Julian Marquez would smoke any of them on any given day.
Any given day.
No, but you are right. The level of competition is something. That is something. But a lot of those guys were a few years ago. A lot of those guys are also a little bit older. He just beat Christian Leroy Duncan, who is a young, huge prospect, right? And it wasn't even a close fight. I just think it's the changing of the guard. I think this is Gregory's time now.
Garb.
Oh, yeah, it is Garb. Sorry. I always thought it was like in Britain, you know, you got the big hats, the guy standing outside.
We going open, spider, to butterfly, closed.
The Garb is the
I
house.
See. I like Gregory Rodrigues here. If we get to rounds 4 and 5, depending on how Cannonier looks, this could get a little bit weird. But Cannonier, I think, is starting to show signs of age. I think Gregory is talented everywhere, and he's down to bang. I think he's going to hurt Cannonier.
I like Gregory Rodrigues here, but for different reasons. I actually think if it goes in the later rounds, I think it favors Rodrigues because it means he didn't die. Where I don't think we've ever really seen any cardio issues with Rodrigues. He seems to.
We did pre-UFC.
Pre-UFC, yes. But since he got into the water, yeah. No, he's good. He's clean. Fast down the middle. I think the speed and the range of Rodrigues is going to give Cannonier a lot of trouble. The chin of Rodrigues, and somehow, how does his cone head protrude 14 feet above his shoulders?
He's like a rhino.
Like, it's just like there. Like, it's almost like his shoulders are like down near his like nipples or something, and his head is somehow above the like stratosphere. I don't even get it. It's just so far away.
When his career's done, he's gonna have to be like laced up to one of those.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be sewed back together or something. It's just not even right. But it's striking. It's just really clean, fast, dynamic movements right down the middle. It's as clean as it gets. He is chinny and he will get hit,
but he recovers sometimes.
You know, allegedly. The thing with Cannonier is we've seen him in the last couple of fights as a slow starter. And I think if you're going to beat Rodrigues, it's going to be in round 1 in a slugfest to test the chin.
Bruno Ferreira.
Yes, it's going to be that. And in Cannonier, the last few fights, he's been kind of sitting back, letting the fight develop. And then he starts to pick up the pace and throwing a little bit more. And then he was actually, who is it he fought? Imavov last? Who did he fight last? What did the last?
Yeah.
And then right before that was, it was Imavov. He lost 2 in a row. I just don't want to get the order.
I got it.
No, Kyle Bahalo.
Yes.
So it's Bahalo and then Imavov. But with Bahalo, I thought he started doing well in that 3rd, 4th round, started picking stuff up, and he's always throwing 2 punches back. And that's the thing is Rodrigues has got to make sure. Sometimes Rodrigues will step in and you'll see him. He has that good jab, but then he will throw that 2, step in with a good right hand and stay, but then he stays there. He's not clinching and he's not exiting, and he's right there to be hit. And the way that his bulbous head and chin and frame are is he's just like, just throw a hook at me, please. And
he's like a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's like sugar water and just there. And so he
looks like he's wearing an Obama skin suit.
Yeah. So he can get hit. And plus he looks 500 years old. How does a man who's 32 look like he's 68? Anyway,
let's just shit on him some more. How he looks, but he can fight his ass off.
Yeah, he can fight his ass off. His chin worries me. You said it. If it was a year or 2 ago, I'm going Cannonier all day, every day. Cannonier, he is a little bit slower these days. He is definitely not as durable. His thing, man, he was so durable before.
Mr. Dependable.
He was so durable. And I feel like lately, his last few fights, his last few losses, he is not, like with the Anderson Silva fight years ago, I mean, he's low kicking and throwing. He only boxes these days.
Well, and that's the thing with Cannonier. He's a jabber and a low kicker. That's his game.
But not anymore. He's not anymore. He's a 2-punch combo, and he throws 2 punches. And it's always off of people throwing on him. It's a cross hook. It's a shell up, hook cross. And then it's a shell up like 1-2. I mean, that's it. 3-2, 2-3, 1-2 off of it.
I know how this fight's going to end.
And that's it. Tell us.
Because
Crystal ball.
This is a thing that the Killcliff guys, they do this all the time. And there's 2 guys that I really like that do this notably because they hurt guys with this. Is Andre Fialho out of the UFC, keeps getting knocked out, but his striking is really good. And then Gregory Rodrigues. People throw jabs and they always counter right hand right over top of the jab. That's always how they crack people. And I think Cannonier is going to get jab heavy. I think it's going to be all he can do for a little while. And I think Rodrigues right over the top, right hand over the jab.
I actually don't necessarily disagree with that. But one thing that, and it's kind of similar, the movement. One thing Rodrigues does really well, I'll actually say something good about him now. No, I actually like Rodrigues. I do like him. I think he's great. I think it's just his structure.
His body is sexy and he's hung. So
yes.
There we go.
But the way that he carries himself is very square and he's down instead of narrow. It's just a weird thing. And I think maybe that's why he gets hit and hurt. But he does something where he does this like false distance range where, and it's not false, it's just real, where he doesn't necessarily step in with like a 1-2. He'll kind of like, almost like a boxing style, he'll kind of like slip and crowd his body where you see people moving away. And it's hard to, if you're listening, it's, hard to explain. If you're watching, I'm sitting in a chair, so even that is hard. I'm not doing an instructional right now. But he'll level change and he'll almost like walk forward and crowd and then come up and throw. And when he does that, you see the reaction of him, whereas people come in, they kind of like, as he comes in, they move away and they kind of reach. And then he comes up with that 1-2 or the 3-2, which he's really long and he is really fast. And so I could see that landing a lot. I could also see low kicks landing a lot with Rodrigues. And honestly, at this point, Rodrigues does more and is there in your face, ready to fight. It's dangerous because, man, at any point, nuclear option can happen and Rodrigues dies. Outside of a first 1 or 2 round knockout by Cannonier, I do like Rodrigues to win. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him put Jared away, who he's so phenomenal, but with age, he's just gotten a little bit less durable.
I think either way, this fight's not going the distance.
Oh, no. It's not going to the distance.
And we always say that, famous last words, and it always goes the distance.
Bet the house. It's not going the distance.
Also, what the hell was that Wei Li line last week?
That was insane.
Dude, you have someone who fought 6 minutes in 6 years and is jumping guillotines as a elite wrestler against the best girl of all time. That's crazy to me.
It's wild. But what'd you think about Strickland Duplessis?
I actually didn't get to watch it.
Okay. That's weird. Strickland just stood there and ate punches for 25 minutes.
I think the Strickland era is over. This style of I just spar every day. I do this. I'm tough. I'm around. I'm going to be in your face. Strickland hasn't really been dangerous to anyone in quite some time. And I'm not even talking on the championship level. Even before that, he was still just jabbing people forever.
Yep. Well, that's what he always did, was just out-volume people and just walk forward, and people freaked out.
But he used to hurt guys. Like, he hurt Uriah Hall. He hurt a lot of guys with just overwhelming them. And whatever happened, his style now is he just stands and plods and punches, where he used to, like, overwhelm people.
Yep.
Interesting. New era of MMA. Things are changing. Everything we once knew is no more.
It's changing of the guard.
Changing of the guard. Thank you guys so much.
From rubber guard to butterfly guard, and here we are.
Well, that's been another action-packed episode. Thank you, guys. We are happy to be back. What do we have to plug? Anything?
Nothing to plug. Just show up on the Discord, hang out. I'll give picks again this week. I'll be back. I'm back. Who's back? You're
if you
back.
guys want to send us, some stuff, depending on what it is, and if we like it, we'll sponsor it or we'll plug it on the show.
Oh yeah, send us stuff and we'll plug it.
Send us money. Send us sponsorships.
I actually don't want money. I want random weird stuff. Like, send us random weird stuff to plug.
If you guys are watching and you guys have a business,
I'll take the money though. I mean, if somebody if they want to send it.
You actually owe us money. You haven't had to work for the last few weeks. So,
Yeah.
All right.
We're out.
Thanks, guys.